Hi guys! This is a little bit slanted, so I'm trying to look like at the camera and like me at the same time. So this is my first video for this channel. Before I describe it in detail, I never know how to like organize my thoughts, so this is gonna be interesting. My name is Shauna, and I am a YouTuber for a gaming channel, which I've like posted 5 videos and then kind of not done anything for a while. It's because every time I try, something new like pops up and makes it very difficult to do. So, but I do plan on bringing that back up sometime. In the meantime, I've been thinking long and hard about this channel, which I think I'm going to call Concept Spiral. Mostly going to be focused on my goals and my ability or inability to handle situations. That being said, I have made several videos on this particular subject, and then something happened this past week that kind of related so hard to what I want to post about that I decided to make this my first video. Before I get into it, I do want to say that I never watched this specific person or his channel, the people that he was involved with. I haven't watched many YouTubers in a while. But as of, I believe it was last weekend, a gentleman by Daniel Kyre passed away. And he was a YouTuber with the group Syndigo, who are no longer making videos for this very reason. And he passed away because he attempted suicide. Although he failed, the injuries were so severe that there was nothing they could do for him, that he was basically brain dead. And although depression and mental illness awareness is becoming more normal and not so taboo, the effects of it are skyrocketing. I've never met so many people having such issues as I have over the past years. Whether that was because they just kept quiet about it, or they didn't know what it was, I don't know. But it's becoming a real thing for a lot of people. And so that's why I wanted to make this video. Or this channel, rather. I do want to kind of do a vlog based on how I handle it. I have clinical bipolar depression. There are many different kinds of depression out there. Mine's specific towards having bipolar tendencies. Intense and sudden mood swings, audio hallucinations, things like that. There's manic depressive, where you're on top of cloud 9 1 minute and then you just roller coaster down to the 7th layer of hell. Then you have situational depression, where just trauma and things in your life have just made your brain unable to take in any more information. It just shuts down. Then you just have regular clinical depression, where it's just everything in here doesn't work correctly, and that's part of my problem. Nothing is wired right. The neurons aren't opening and closing and sending signals the way they should. I'm not getting the chemical releases that are normal to people. I don't get dopamine. I don't, so it's hard to handle everyday activities, to function in any kind of normal social, like, setting. But this specific video, this first video, is going to focus on suicide. I send my thoughts and prayers to Markiplier and everyone from Syndigo and Daniel's family. I've done just a little bit of research before I was just set on making this. Words are hard when it's a sensitive subject. I read some comments. I read the letter that Daniel's father, I believe, sent to Markiplier and the Syndigo crew. And it sucks. Because the last thing that his father had sent to him before he knew what was going on was, "Are you happy?" To my recollection, to my understanding, Daniel had moved from South Carolina, where I lived just 2 months ago, to LA to do this, to be a YouTuber, to do music, to follow what little passion he had left for the things that he wanted to do. And his father had sent him text messages that he's proud that, he's so happy that he's doing what he wants to do. And then he did ask him, he asked him if he was happy. And Daniel never responded. And that hits. That hits hard. For me specifically, and probably for anybody who's dealt with this. Because that is a question that we, as people with mental illness, can never answer. I can't speak for anybody else, but I don't personally know what happiness is. Because every time I feel happy, it feels like there's it's a loaded happiness. Like, yeah, you can be happy, but just wait, it's going to be ruined like any minute. And it is. And that's not because I'm a negative person. It's because I'm only allowed in my brain to see the bad. And I'm working on it. That is a me thing. That's not necessarily depression. That is just how I've been programmed because of my depression to do. And I'm reprogramming myself not to do that. As close as it seemed that Markiplier and the Syndigo group was to Daniel, they don't have answers. It seems like they are very confused as to why this was ever a thing, why this happened. Markiplier said specifically that he didn't know what demons Daniel was facing, that he had no idea. And that's another thing that hit home with me. Anyone that you love that has depression is fighting a demon you cannot see. You cannot understand. You can't even fathom what it could ever look like. And if any of you are Whovians and have seen Vincent and the Doctor, that is the most correct way that I've ever seen depression depicted in a television show. For those of you who don't watch Doctor Who, they go and see Vincent van Gogh, and they notice that, he sees things he sees colors that he sees them move, he hears them talk, he has an insight that no one else has. And I'm learning that a lot of depressive people have that. As Emily Autumn had said, that intelligent people are more depressed because they know what the world is really like. And even though that's more a situational depression or something like that, it's true. It's the more open you are, the more sensitive you are, the more intelligent you are, the more prone you are to getting mental illness, it seems. And that's ridiculous. But I'm very... Where was I going with that? So Van Gogh sees a monster and it attacks in the middle of the night. It preys on its victims, and everybody is blaming Van Gogh for this, and because no one can see it except him. And the doctor was trying to figure out what was going on because the doctor got attacked by this creature and he couldn't see it. So Van Gogh kind of had to direct him, and it went more along the, oh, this is an actual creature. But the fact that Van Gogh could see it makes it more symbolic towards the fact that no one but the person who's depressed can handle depression. In that way, they can't, my family will never be able to see what I see. They will never be able to feel what I feel because a lot of them don't have it. And I said all of that just so I could say this, that I don't believe that suicide is selfish. Because that was one of the comments that was left on Mark Plyer's video when he was talking about taking a break because he lost a dear friend. One of them said, "I'm sorry for your loss. I just can't help but think that this is so selfish, that someone would take their own life without thinking about other people." That's not true. Actually, the only reason I think I'm still alive right now is because I was able to get out of that cloud just long enough to remember that I had people that loved me. I can't speak for anybody else, but I do know that in my instance, and I've only felt this once, but it was so real that, dare I say, I'm very lucky. When you're that far along, you no longer, logic is not a thing. Just think, I don't know, of like an animal, right? They don't have logic, they just have instinct. They're very intelligent, but they don't have the capacity to reason, right? They can't sort out thought. Basically, we become animals. Like, this is an analogy I just came up with, so this may not work. But, I mean, I had a betta fish, and it lived for 4 years, and then all of a sudden it banged its head against the glass so hard it died. It committed suicide, and it was because it was so old it couldn't function correctly, and it knew it. And as an instinct, it killed itself. I did not know they did this. But they do. And there was no logic behind it. They just did it because that's all they knew to do at that moment. And that's almost the way I felt. It didn't matter who loved me. It didn't matter what I had. It didn't matter that the situation I was in was only temporary. None of that mattered. It didn't even cross my mind. It was like an out-of-body experience that all I wanted to do, All I knew for a fact at that time was that if I was gone, none of this would be an issue right now. And that, even that full thought wasn't a full thought. It was almost instinct. It was the instinct of, if I'm gone, so is this. And that's worth it. And it's not at all, and I know that. But at that point in time, it didn't matter. It blows my mind how little anything matters when you get to that point. It's really scary. So, if you think that suicide is selfish, please try to understand that for depression being a mental illness, it is the most physical thing in the world. It physically hurts. I've never had a kid or been into labor, but of every woman I've talked to, they literally would do anything to just get that kid out and be done with it. My best friend had my godson, and she wanted to do it naturally, and after 2 hours of pure hell, she said, I don't care what you have to do to get that epidural in me, but do it now, and get this thing out. It's almost that kind of instinct. This pain hurts so much, just do anything that would make it stop. And it's very real, and it's very scary. And if someone comes to you that says that they're depressed, they're not sad, nothing happened, likely nothing happened, which is another thing that just pisses me off, is that likely, like 90% of the time, absolutely nothing would happen for this feeling of dread and hurt and pain and sorrow to just wash over you. Like, you could just wake up and suddenly I literally cried. I used to cry because I woke up. There's no reason or rhyme to it. If you ever hear that someone is depressed, don't shrug them off. They're coming to you, saying something that they have probably been afraid to tell anybody. And if you don't know what to do, just being there is something. Likewise, if you're the depressed person and you go to someone and you say you're depressed, do not expect them to know what to do about it. It's not them being mean. It's not them not caring. I used to get mad at my ex all the time because when I said I'm depressed, he didn't know what to do. He honestly said, well, what do you want me to do about it? Because he got so tired of not knowing that he asked that, and him asking it made it worse. They don't know. So if you're a depressed person, and right now you're feeling okay, find just one person that you know that if you go to and you say, look, I'm feeling particularly like I don't want to live right now. They won't like freak out and send you to a psych ward. Find that one person. And just tell them that you're okay right now, but you want them to know that you may come to them and want something, and you're not going to know what. And just to try anything. Try to make them laugh. Try to cry with them. Try to, get them up and out. It's never the same thing, and it's never just one thing. Just depressed people confront somebody and tell them what they need to do. And I guarantee you they will try everything. because you can't do this alone. And it's actually because of a YouTuber that I very rarely watch, maybe like once or twice a year, who came out with a bipolar video, and she talked about how finally she got help. Well, I've been trying everything naturally, and it was then that I just knew that I needed something that was bigger and more than me to fix this, because it is something that is literally chemically in my brain not letting me do something. So, if you don't have anybody, take 10 minutes and send something to me. Send me a message on YouTube. My email is faeplays@yahoo.com. FAEPLAYS@yahoo.com. Take 10 minutes and just type. And don't stop typing. Just type, and if you cry, do it. If, like, all of this liquid is coming down your face, let it. Don't stop typing. I want you to type to me, and even if I don't ever respond back, which I totally would love to do and will try to do, just know that I got it and I have read it. And if I don't personally send anything back, it will definitely be in my videos. No, your name's going to be disclosed. There's not going to be any, but even if you take that time to send me something, it's time that you're not acting on something that you would regret later. And if you can do that, and if you can send me something, and then 10 minutes later you've just cried it out and you've typed it out, and you know that someone is receiving it, that someone is reading it, I hope and pray that that's enough for you to just sit back for the duration of your episode, and then be thankful afterwards that you didn't act on anything that would cause somebody to bury their child, their sister, their brother, their loved one. Because that's what the Kyres had to do. And that's what Markiplier had to do. And that's what the Syndico men have to do. And I'm sure a lot of other people had to do. And I'm very thankful that my parents didn't have to do that. I am thankful that I'm still here. I have met the best man in the world. And I'm slowly doing things that were my passion before this really kicked in. And I plan on continuing. So definitely please, 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 please find that one person that you can go to. And if you can't, again, just spend that 10 minutes when you're really, really bad off and just send me something. Because I would love to be the distraction that you need, rather than being another number on the statistics of suicide. So yeah, that's my first video. I do know that, this being the internet and YouTube, that this is a very vulnerable subject and is open to a lot of ridicule and being made fun of, all that glorious stuff. But I do ask that if you didn't like it, or if something about my hair or my face or my voice just made you want to tell me to kill myself, I would love it if you just didn't send any of that on my comments. I'd like to think that I'm stronger than that to be able to handle that. I do know it's YouTube. I was a YouTube gamer. But it would just be nice if I didn't get any of those. If you know somebody with depression, any kind of depression, it doesn't matter, send them this. And hopefully coming from one person who truly understands to another, I do really hope that this will help some people. And if you want to follow along on my journey to hopefully having a better future than my past, if you want to hear my stories, stuff like that, please subscribe. If not, that's totally okay. I'm not here for subscriptions. I'm not here for, any kind of glorification. I'm really sick of not being able to just kind of vent out my own frustrations, and sick of having this illness that I can't control and that I can't do anything with. I see a lot of people doing like charities for the illnesses they have and stuff like that, and I'm too depressed to get that organized. So hopefully, if nothing else, this will serve as something that helps other people. And if I stop for a while, it's because I'm having some bad weeks, and eventually I'll be back on here. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that this helps, and it will continue to help. And just email me if you would like. And, yeah. Alright, just know that joy is around the corner, and look for it, because it could be there and you're just not paying attention because we're so focused on the negative. Just be joyful and thankful, because I am, and it's super hard to do. Alright guys, bye!